Pokémon Super Light Dynamic Exit Velocity version. Welcome to the wonderful world of Pokémon, only this time it's personal. In the far out region of Kodiak, you will discover a whole new world of new places, people and Pokémon. This is a strange land where people speak in riddles and movie references. The landscape varies greatly, and you will find yourself travelling through poison swamps, murky forests, poison swamps, tropical beachfront properties, prehistoric theme parks, poison swamps, and you will even get shrunk down to the atomic level to explore digital poison swamp. Just be dead. Also, everyone seems to hate you specifically. There are lots of Pokemon here, some familiar but some new and strange. Many are but ugly. Ugly type Pokemon have a similar move pool to poison types. They are weak to grass, water and fairy moves, but resist dark and are immune to poison. They are also super effective against psychic and normal Pokemon. Old Pokemon that now have secondary ugly typing are as follows: Dunsparce, Stantler, Pure Ugly, Licky, Timber, Dirt, Conkeldurr, Gulpin, Swalot, Bellybolt, Spoink, Grumpig, Snubble and Gramble. Pokemon types are known by different names in the Kodiak region. Fire is lit, water is moist, flying is high, fighting is tripping, poison is dank, electric is blitzed, ground is rough, rock is hard, steel is harder, psychic is loco, ow, ice is cold, bug is buggin', ghost is vape, dragon is puff, dark is chronic, and fairy is edible. Normal is sober, and grass is still just grass. You start your adventure by washing up on the shore of this strange misty land, ostensibly after surviving a plane crash. You seem to remember a Pidgey getting sucked violently into the turbine engines, but you can't be sure. Maybe you're dead, or trapped in some form of purgatory. Or perhaps you're a cop inside a coma, inside a TV show, like that one TV show that one time. I think it was called Top Gun 2, Maverick. No matter the reason, you need to get back home. This video is going to be so long. Nearby is the rustic coastal village of Greybuck Wells. Professor Cavendish, who is a dead ringer for David Lynch, runs a local Pokemon research facility, along with his young assistant Parker. They offer you a Pokemon to protect you as you set forth on your journey, and remind you to write down every idea you ever get, or else you should kill yourself. There are 3 Pokemon that they offer you. There is the cutesy fire-flying Pokemon, Drakling, that evolves into Magmalard and Goosescorch. I don't know if these Pokemon are real Pokemon or not. I said that. This Pokemon has singed black downing and creates smoke screens whenever it flaps its fiery wings. It resembles a large harmless ball of soot and gets annoyed when people don't take it seriously. It becomes even prouder in later evolutions, and Goosescorch is downright belligerent, biting and burning passers-by on the bum. Right on the buttis. There's the water ground Pokemon, Splappy, which evolves into Kelpony, then Sea Steed, which is a mystical mermaid horse combo. A Kelpie, not a seahorse. Splappy has a heavy noggin and is dorky looking, but slowly grows more confident and beautiful until it becomes the majestic Sea Steed. Its long seaweed tail is a powerful weapon and allows for high damage physical attacks. It's going to take such a long time. I should have drunk. Finally, there is the grass electric Pokemon Spinecone, Sparktus, then Voltbloom. This spiny plant Pokemon hails from arid desert regions and electrocutes predators with shocking plant pins. Simply put, it is terrifying to behold. Spinecone and Sparktus have long roots that run deep to search for water. However, the roots allow the Pokemon to move across the dunes at lightning speed. You can't outrun it. Voltbloom has developed a pretty desert flower on its head that provides shade, as well as helping power formidable solar beam and thunder attacks, a true affront to God. Parker, the professor's assistant, is your rival, and when in the presence of the professor and other NPCs, is cordial and friendly. As soon as you are alone, however, they reveal their true self, a violent and terrifying menace. Towards you, and you alone, they are always hostile and rude, insulting everything from your Pokémon to your fashion. They have a catchphrase, "Silence, you fool!" They always pick the starter that is effective against yours. Oh, fuck, where's it gone? And hound you throughout your journey. After your first meeting, they are always announced by an anxiety-inducing theme song. The music is like a classic disco song, with the BPM of Motley Crue's Kickstart My Heart, but in minor key. In the area around the starting town, you'll meet your first new Pokemon. Frowl is a flying type owl. Frowl is a flying type owl with 2 permanently angry eyes on its oversized head. Skitterleaf is a grass bug type Pokemon that disguises itself as a leaf and skitters about. Then there's Zubat, a rock type bat Pokemon that is spelt with an X. Kissubat. A rock type bat Pokemon that hurts itself when it attacks, crumbling to dust immediately. You can find Pokemon in places other than caves and tall grass. Trubbish and Applin can be found in trash bins. By inspecting graves at the graveyard, you can disturb Ghastly, Mischievous, Grievard, and Bunnelby. You can jump in rock pools to find Shelder, Corfish, Shellos, and Skrelp. You can go fishing too. And bigger fish can be found upstream, where they are attempting to spawn. There's Salmount, the river fish Pokemon with a built-in saddle. The locals use them as a fast travel system around the waterways of Kodiak. There's the local Kodiak variant of Magikarp, which is indistinguishable from a regular Magikarp, except it never evolves into Gyarados. Out to sea, you can find Hammark, the Hammerhead Pokemon that is water fighting type and is desperate to bonk opponents. Don't know the secondary meaning of bonk. Or maybe you do. Jesus Christ. Poison swamps areas are a hazard. I'm going to read all the spelling mistakes now. Poison swamps areas are a hazard to cross as they can hurt your party as you walk over poison pools. Luckily, they contain a huge variety of Pokemon. Phantom, Tutor, Goomy, Gulpin, Wooper, Stunky, Skrillex, Shroodle, Weedle, Oddish, Venonat, Venipede, Murkrow, Ekans, Nidoran, and Nickit, to name a few. Mewtwo is also out there somewhere. Gym leaders. Poison fighting leader, Cyber Ninja. In the neon-drenched town along Spaghetti-O Beach, you can find the first gym run by the Cyber Ninja. He's a man as enigmatic as he is on fire, which is to say at all times. He is half man, half robot, and half ninja. He greets you by screaming. Once you put him out, he thanks you, and you play hide and seek around the gym. He will jump out of hiding places and jump scare you. You can defeat him easily by leaving the gym, then re-entering, as you will have abandoned the game out of boredom and would admit defeat. His team involves Ribodet, the water jet toilet frog Pokemon. This Pokemon is poison fighting that removes status effects from itself at the start of its turn. Then there's Judhole. I don't know which of these are real and which are fake. Judhole, the martial artist canine. It is dangerous at both ends with a deadly bite and a strong back kick. He also uses crow gunk. Upon defeat, he rewards you with the Lawnmower Man badge and TM499 life hack, an ugly type move that works like Giga Drain, only worse than ugly type. You can find the Cyber Ninja on the beach after the battle, relaxing in the sun, which he explains as how he caught fire in the first place. He does not elaborate further. You can buy sunglasses from him. This is going to take me half an hour to read. Thanks a lot. So hungry. After reaching the agrarian settlement of Tomato Town, you will quickly find the second gym, led by Foghorn. He has a lot to say, literally hundreds of words, but don't skip it all, as he will ask you if you understood him, and will repeat his speech if you accidentally select "No, please tell me again" in excruciating detail, which is the default option. He's his Staraptor and 2 new Pokemon, Scowler and Alama. The normal type Llama Pokemon. It is boring, except that it is a llama. Scowler is the evolved form of Frowl, and is even angrier. It has developed a 3rd extra angry eye out of sheer hatred. Upon defeating him, he quips a simple "Aight." He then proceeds to give you the Nugget badge and TM35 sleep talk. He then walks out of the gym, and you hear a gunshot from off screen. I wonder if you just heard that ambient sound of me scratching my pubes. Gunshot from off screen. You never see him again. Digital leader Ben Shapiro. In order to find Ben Shapiro, you must go into the internet. In order to do that, you need to shrink yourself down to travel through the Ethernet cable in the Pokemon Internet Repository. You can get shrunk. Oh, I'm just going to move my sausage and my nads. You can get shrunk at the Shrinking Emporium. Once shrunk down, you cannot swap out your team, so be careful which Pokemon you take with you. Whilst there are opportunities to heal, you cannot gain new items or change your team until you leave the internet. Before you fight Ben, you have to fight through the alt-righters in your way. They will attack you with Zubat, Woobat, and Kasubat. Write that down. G-Trolls are ugly type Pokemon that can only be found in the internet alongside the digital Porygon. There is also the digital Poison Swamp you must navigate, which will hurt your Pokemon before your fight with Ben. Also, watch out for the Dittos masquerading as legendary Pokemon. Finally, there is the rare plagiarism Pokemon, Agumon, an ugly Pokemon, which has the unique Fire-type move, Pepper Breath. Where has it gone again? Ben himself cannot be fought directly. He's in the middle of his podcast show and will attempt to get you to sign up for his newsletter. Then you try to sell a subscription to his alt-right online university. If you successfully avoid these attacks, he'll fly into a rage and challenge you himself. His team is part electric, specifically Elekid, Tadbulb, Magnemite, and Swognomite, an electric ugly variant that is chronically depressed and desperately wants its friends to know that it doesn't actually believe in the horrible things it says, but it's in too deep, and there's no way it can turn its back on the only community that would accept him, even though he's active in making the world a worse place. Once defeated, Ben will throw a tantrum. Once you point out that the facts don't care about his feelings, he would explode in a wave of logic, endowing you with the Journalistic Integrity badge and TM210 Supercell Slam. You will get refunded any money you invested in his businesses or university, but it's like a huge deal. And the guy at the help desk is super unfriendly. Australian leader, Steve Irwin. In order to find Steve, you need to equip the gravity harness and walk upside down in the super duper Drongo Poison Swamp, aka the Olfactory Zone, aka Oz. The Pokemon here include, are we talking like Emerald City? Antipodian? Other words? Screech? Basket? Fallopians. Something to think about, innit? The Pokemon here include the new Pokemon Digidoo and the evolved form Digidoom, which is a grass steel Pokemon that blasts opponents with sonic blasts. Steve is too busy tracking down a legendary Pokemon to battle you. Following him throughout the swamp, you will find clues that will reveal the location of the mysterious creature. Finally, you discover it's a giant shiny Feraligatr that you and Steve have to defeat together. After beating the Pokemon, you will find an egg which will eventually hatch into a shiny Totodile. After a short break, Steve will finally challenge you to a Pokemon battle. Steve's team includes the new Pokemon Splud, a platypus Pokemon that is water grass type and has an ability that gives its physical attacks a chance to cause poison. The ability is called Freak of Nature. He also has Dingus Dial, a water fighting type powerhouse which can mess up your team with moves that force your Pokemon to swap out. He also has Seviper and Lapras. Victory reveals that Steve was filming the whole thing for his hit TV show. Crikey, Pokemon are bloody brilliant. He congratulates you and awards you the Environment Badge and TM142 Hydro Pump. You can visit Steve's kids in the swamp later, who will be tracking down a shiny Typhlosion and Meganium, which will each leave behind respective shiny eggs. Food leader, Gordon Ramsay. In Browntown, you can go to the dreaded Chef Dome and undertake Pokemon performance challenges by using Pokemon moves to help prepare dishes. You can rank up from Bronze Busboy to Zinc Saucier to Iron Cook, then finally Titanium Chef. This has no effect on gameplay. At the Dome, you can speak to Chef Ramsay, who is very upset by his clientele. After offering an unwanted opinion, you can challenge him to a battle. Whilst most of Chef Ramsay's team is Fairy type, he does have the new lobster Pokemon, Thermabdor, which is Water Fire type that steams opponents into submission. The other members of his team are Alcremie, Slurpuff, Shinotic, and Dashbun. Once he loses, he'll go into a towering rage, and you will find him outside, seething. Offer him bottled water to calm him down. Once you've spoken, he will give you the Glutton Badge and TM505 Infuse. Infuse is an ugly type move. Is an ugly move that increases the target stats across the board. It is most useful in the Chef Dome, as it almost always improves the dish your Pokemon creates. Ramsay can be visited after the battle, and be given ingredients to create dishes that you can take with you to feed Pokemon. The effect depends on the ingredients, and can vary from full revives, PP upgrades, temporary crit boosters, or maxing out friendship. The meal's quality will range from perfect, good, interesting, and what the fuck is that? Bug leader, Swaggy, champion of the world. Swaggy is a world-renowned bug-catching champion. He is feasibly 100 years old, although it is impossible to tell. He holds a weekly big bug catching competition in his own personal bug garden, Poison Swamp military compound // He also sells a special Pokeball called the Ugly Bug Ball. To be used when you've got no one to hug. Like me now. Some sort of scrotum joke. It is highly effective at catching bugs and ugly types. You can pay money to enter the competition, and you will have 10 minutes to catch the best bug you can. There are 2 modes, total accumulated points and single best bug. You are judged on a combination of rarity, level, and a subjective cool factor. Caterpie, Metapod, and Combee and score low points. I'm reading the spelling mistakes out. Vivillon, I'm just going to say Vivian though. Vivian, Vespiquen, Nincada, and Spinarak score medium points. Butterfree, Ninjask, Shedinja, Ariados, and Heracross score higher points. Pinsir and Scyther score very high points. You can hamstring the other catchers. Just an interlude to say to check out my my current series on Instagram. I'm drawing every Pokemon from memory with my left hand. Butterfree reminded me because the actual correct term is Butterbug, but you can hamstring the other catchers in the Jerry Mark Norton on Instagram. You can hamstring the other catchers in the tournament by battling them and their random bug-centric teams. However, this will bite into your own catching time. It is implied through their lost quotes that these trainers will be trapped inside the garden forever and eaten by bugs. I zoned out for a second there. I was reading but not taking any of that in. You get to keep any Pokemon you catch, except in single best bug mode, in which you only keep your winning bug. You can trade in unwanted bugs to an attendant so that they are re-released back into the garden. In exchange, you are given bug bounty points that can be traded for exceptionally rare bugs, specifically Snom, Sewaddle, Larvesta, Grubbin, Wimpod, and the new bug ugly Pokemon. Sorry, Peon. Scorpion. With an eye. Peon. A tired-looking scorpion with an eyeball on its stinger tail. It has come to accept its lot in life. It evolves into Grimmigaloom that has 2 gloved hands instead of pincers, but it has eyeballs on its palms, meaning it cannot hold/fight and see at the same time. Swaggy will not challenge you until you make the podium in either play mode. His team is Golisopod, followed by Grimmigaloom, Scolipede, and Kodiak Form Beedrill, which is Bug Ugly type and has a fat ass too big to fly with. It is wistful for a time with a small behind. There is finally Dialoke, the bug dragon Pokemon based on the dragon-headed caterpillar. It has dragon type moves and explodes on fainting just to spite you. Swaggy will thank you for such a good battle near the end of his life. He then dies of old age. On his body you find the Colony Badge and TM56 U-turn. His grave can be later found outside Browntown in a special cemetery area. There is a unique ghost bug Pokemon in the cemetery called Critinet, based on the assassin bug. Oh shit, it's gone again. Fucking word. That drops items when defeated in the wild. Fossil leader. John Hammond. The 7th gym is at the centre of the Silurian Safari Zone. Silurian. The theme park is great shopping area for visitors to acquire evolution stones and rare items. You'll need to swap money for Dino Dollars at the park entrance and then use Dino Dollars to pay for safari tokens. The area is full of young fossil Pokemon, such as Kabuto and Omanyte. Fishing in the plentiful lakes will yield primarily Relicanth. Inside the 7th gym is John Hammond. He's the eccentric billionaire CEO of Pokegen, the cutting-edge genetics company that revives extinct species of Pokemon as attractions for a mediocre theme park. Before you can challenge him, you must first defeat his team of high-class lawyers, normal type trainers. His team consists entirely of fossil Pokemon: Cradily, Armaldo, Archeops, Arctozolt, and Aerodactyl. He also has the new rock bug Pokemon Discordant, which surprisingly has access to fighting type moves. After defeating Hammond, he will congratulate you warmly, award you the Amber Badge and TM37 Sandstorm. You won't win money for defeating Hammond. Instead, he'll award you a handsome sum of Dino Dollars, which can only be exchanged at the park for safari tokens or fossil themed clothes. After leaving the gym, I want to make a bug type trader joke about Rudy, but he must have. After defeating the gym, you can find Hammond at the park entrance where he sells collectible lunchboxes. Fire Leader, Archlord, Killmaster, Diablo. The final gym is hidden away within a super secret evil volcano lair on Stormbow Island. You must travel to the island by hovercraft and trek through the perimeter jungle, then an artificial cave. Lotad, Bellsprout, and Splud live in the jungle, whilst Heliopotile, Voltorb, and Swagnomite live inside the man-made cave. Hidden in the cave is a security door that you must guess the password to enter. However, Killmaster forgot to set the password, and whatever you enter will be the correct code. The inside of the base is patrolled by numerous goons who use Growlithe and Houndours. In the inner sanctum, there are scientists who will use Muck or Skuntank. If the player treads on hidden alarm switches, then sexy latex elite goons will be dispatched to the area to fight you. They use a Salazzle and either an Arcanine or a Houndoom. All the fights in the evil base are double battles, excluding the gym battles. Archlord Killmaster is found in his evil conference room and is protected by his manservant, Guy Bigley. Guy is something of a mini-boss, although his team is just 5 Infernape back-to-back. Killmaster's team is purely fire Pokemon: Magcargo, Magmar, Heatmor, Camerupt, and Turtonator. Wow. He has a Rotrator, a fire ugly Pokemon that uses an ugly type move called Risky Shot that either burns or poisons all Pokemon, except itself, because it is immune to both status effects. It looks like a sad melting man holding a boulder over its head. Upon defeating Killmaster, he curses you and announces his intentions to blow up the base and escape. He stays around long enough to gloat about how you won't ever collect the final gym badge. He exits via escape speedboat, but forgets to activate the self-destruct on the computer console, allowing you to collect the Pyroclast badge and TM92 Mystical Fire. Upon returning to the mainland, you will see the crashed speedboat on Spaghettio Beach. You can find Killmaster unconscious in a bed in the hospital. The nurse says he's not expected to recover. Okay. Need to have a good scratch from my nose, have some water, and then we'll get to the Elite Four. Elite Four. The Elite Four stand in the Hall of Arbitration, a place that is modelled on a TV court, complete with live studio audience. The first Elite Four battle is against Merlinda, the Lady Wizard Elf cosplayer with a panache for TTRPGs, specifically those involving dragons. In her own words, dragons get her excited to a fault. Her team includes Goodra, Appletun, Hydreigon, Kingdra, Salamence, and the evolved form of Dialoque Wingdrake, a monstrous half-dragon butterfly with high speed and an ability that makes it immune to fairy-type moves. The ability is called Edge Case. Once defeated, she admits that she might have let her love of dragons get away from her, and that she should focus on what's important in her life, like the fact that she actually has genuine magic powers. The second member of the Elite Four is Professor Cavendish, who congratulates you on getting so far, but warns you that you won't go any further. He uses the remaining Pokemon left behind at the lab, but fully evolved and equipped with powerful TM moves. He also uses G-Troll, Salmount, Retrator, Smuglian, ugly type Evolution, and Owlwacker, the ugly normal evolved form of a llama. Victory not only nets you entrance into the next battle, but also a super ugly ball. Cavendish has been working on it for years, but he says you earned it. It works like a Master Ball, but only for ugly types. The third Elite Four member is at first thought to be John Hammond, but he merely introduces a clone of Foghorn Leghorn, who has a revised team, which he talked about in a long, rambling, unbroken sentence with numerous digressions. In short, his team is Scowler, Staraptor, Porygon 2, Miltank, Diggersby, and Zaytu. Once defeated, Foghorn begins to congratulate you in a long-winded way, but suddenly begins to contemplate the intangible consequences of living as a clone and is led away by a concerned Hammond. His speech becomes noticeably more verbose as he exits, positing that his existence is as meaningless as a reflected mirror image, like Waluigi. What is a reflection in a mirror to a man? That which we so carelessly dismiss when it's not in view. The interaction is not remotely funny. The TV audience gives a smattering of applause, unsure if that was part of the show. The final member of the Elite Four is the captain of the plane that crashed at the beginning of the game. He alleges that he knows what happened on that fateful flight, and that he alone knows what your true purpose in Kodiak is. His team is Chandelure, Trevenant, Houndstone, Gengar, Critinet, and Zagoyle. The evolved form of Kisugail. The evolved form of Kisubat, a crumbling rock ghost type that loses its rock typing after being hit once, destroying the stone shell that encases its spirit. Once defeated, the captain states that he just made that shit up about the plane crash to rattle you. He is led away by men in white coats. Can't believe this shit. All the time I have spent reading this out. We're approaching 31 minutes. Once defeated, After defeating all of the Elite Four members, you are given one final challenge from the current reigning champ. You know who it is when that terrible music starts up. Parker faces you for the final time. His team has a... I don't know why I'm staring at myself like I'm staring at the audience. Parker faces you for a final time. His team has had a near complete facelift since your last battle with him. Alolan Raichu, Baxcalibur, Magmortar, Digidoom, Kodiak form Gyarados, a water flying type not seen until this point in the game. And finally his chosen starter, now fully evolved and deadly. After losing, Parker has a pretty embarrassing mental breakdown. Refusing to believe he was bested by you, his arbitrary enemy, he cheats by immediately calling forth Mewtwo without giving you a chance to heal, essentially having a seven-sized Pokemon team. However, if the player has already caught the single wild Mewtwo, he instead calls forth Regimite, a fighting-type Regi Pokemon that is immune to psychic attacks. This is due to an ability called Contrarian. After being defeated, again he vows revenge and runs away, dropping the Superfly Dana, which finally allows Magikarp to evolve. However, successfully gaining a Gyarados is a 1 in 16 chance. You are more likely to get Magikarp, a bigger water ugly type Pokemon that has a bug for a tongue. Both the bug and the fish look tired. Professor Cavendish, Cyber Ninja, John Hammond, Steve Irwin, Gordon Ramsay, and Melinda the Wizard all enter to applaud you as your team is enshrined in the Hall of Fame. As the new champion, you can return to the Court of Arbitration at any time to defeat new challengers to your title. These are randomly selected trainers who use high-level endgame teams. You may even see other Pokemon characters, including Ash Ketchum, Satoshi Red, and that guy from the first Pokemon game. And there it is. Thank you for that. I'm looking forward to seeing you doing more stuff like this as a team. Suck your mother.